Oh, do you still need to connect?
What's that? No. There was just something I was going to look up really quick. Being that we started off with we always start and end with the Stranded in the City. Ladies and gentlemen, they will be out at the Eagle's Nest. It's the Reyes Brothers Jam Session. You ever go down to a jam session down at the Eagle's Nest?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So the Reyes Brothers will be doing this, which is Stevie, Andre, and their sons, Antonio and AJ, and they just a jam session. Everybody, if you feel like coming out, man, you should come out.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is it's actually Sunday, August 11th. They will be there from 3 to 7 p.m., and that is at the American Legion post. I mean, not American Legion. Wait, what did I say?
You said, you said Eagle's Nest?
Yeah, the Eagle's Nest, yeah.
So, the American Legion.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what it is. But anyway, yeah. So, and Stephanie Reyes will be selling food there as well. So anybody that wants to come along, like I said, it's Sunday at the Eagle's Nest. So, boys, this happens to me quite a bit. And I'm sure our guest is going to say, oh, yeah, I think it's the same thing. So when you're in a grocery store, do you ever know you listen to music there in the grocery stores?
Yes.
I don't know how many times I've stood there just to listen to a song. You know, a song comes out, a jam. Sometimes you even start moving, and like if there's nobody in the aisle, I'll literally start dancing. I mean, I find it that they have good music in grocery stores.
I don't know. I got to really pay attention now. I got to think back. Sometimes, they're not. I don't think they're playing like. What's the word? Just like it's not like on 91 whatever.
No, I know. I'm sure it's like satellite music. Kind of like what we.
Well, okay. Well, can you think to the most recent song that you heard that made you groove in a grocery store?
It's usually that smooth
like
what
elevator.
What we call yacht rock. Yep, that yacht rock.
rock?
Yeah, that Christopher Cross and. A little bit of Andy Gibb and who else is out there, Ron? The yacht rock,
Maybe a little Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald, yes, Michael McDonald, and then you got, of course, the Doobie Brothers. Yeah, it's just my kind of music, my style of music. I don't know. I usually jam out, and sometimes I hear Michael Jackson. Chris.
Yeah, I heard Earth, Wind, and Fire like maybe a week ago at Price Chopper.
Oh wow, okay.
Right. See, so. I think it's cool.
Really? Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah, they were playing September.
Yeah, you know what? That is one song. I wonder if they have that music on loop because I have heard that at Price Chopper, the one up here by us.
I haven't heard that. I'm not paying attention. That's crazy that you guys have enough sense to like pay attention to the music because I'm going there to shop for stuff I need.
I like when they have the music outside. When the speakers are on, I think at Walmart they have the speakers outside.
Oh, outside, like in the entrance.
No, like facing out towards the parking lot.
Oh man,
I'll jam a little bit walking into the store.
I gotta either pay attention more clearly or something because I bet there's music happening, but I'm just not paying attention or something.
Yeah, you're too busy locked into your phone until you get into the store and.
No, I mean, no, I'm not locked in my phone. I mean, I'm locked in my phone once I get in because I need to know what I'm getting, and then I'm searching up and down the aisles. But otherwise, I'm not. You gotta go to just kind of browse. If that's the only way I'm gonna be able to hear it. Like I'm just like walking down an aisle, looking around. I'm like, that's when I'm lucid enough to hear what's happening around me. Otherwise, I didn't even know there's music. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any store. I've always said that music, and this, Ron, makes the world go round.
Absolutely.
There's music. Everywhere you go, everywhere you sit, everywhere you stand, whether you're at a Royals game or you're at Arrowhead or in a grocery store or any kind of store or even at work, even in an elevator, there's always music. And I think, and like pretty much every commercial has some kind of jingle. I mean, music is the thing, right?
Gas pumps. There are some stations that have music coming out of the gas pumps.
Do you ever see that? I don't know what show it was, but they did a karaoke at the gas pump, and there's a couple. They're just listening to the music, and in the TV, I don't know, it might have been Colbert or somebody starts talking to the people at the pump.
I've seen that. Yes.
And they're just like, hey, you, yeah, I'm talking to you. at the pump, and they're like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And then they start doing some karaoke. That's good fun stuff there.
No, that sounds old.
Yeah, it's been out for a while, but anyway. Chris, you ever hear music at the gas pump?
No.
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 That Quick Trip, yeah, I know that. I've heard music there. Man, you guys need to pay attention more. You guys are zoned in to. You got to zone out a little bit.
I put my gas in and then I go and I sit in my car. It depends.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought I had to ask you guys to see if you guys knew or if you've experienced that, because I love it. I do it all the time. I hear it all the time. Anyway, hello everyone and welcome back to the Big Modcast. We are at episode 108. I am your host, Big Mod. Here with me, my co-host, as always, my son Mark. Running the board, as always, Chris. Chris, were you here last week?
I don't know.
Oh, right. How do you not know if you're here? I can't remember if
I don't remember either.
I don't remember what happened a week ago.
Yeah, it was the boys, but I don't remember. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was the boys. Yeah,
Well,
you were
whether
here.
or not
Yes,
was that.
then I
Yeah.
was.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, we are sitting here at Big Mod Media Studio. And let's go, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest for the evening, Mr. Ron Gutierrez. Ron, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Doing
Good to
great.
see
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you taking the time
Absolutely.
to do this. Yeah, I know you have a pretty busy schedule. How's your summer going? I guess I should ask you.
Summer's good. It's nice to have consistent gigs. I guess I like to call them like residencies.
Okay.
So we've been at the it's called the American Reserve in the Ambassador downtown, and I was just looking at my calendar. We've been there 6 years as of June.
Really?
Hmm. So we weren't there during a period of the shutdown, but we were there every Friday before the shutdown, and we came back on Saturdays.
Oh, okay. So you're right back at it again.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
We've been there. We've been. I was at Sullivan's Steakhouse. Again, prior to the shutdown for about 3.5 years. And then we just started back at Sullivan's maybe about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
on
What do you mean by
Thursdays.
shutdown? What did they shut down like
During the
for-
COVID shutdown.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Some years ago.
Isn't that funny? It's been so long now that term used to be part of our everyday language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shutdown.
And now it's been long enough that it's like wow, the shutdown. I remember
the
now.
shutdown. And I've never heard it as the shutdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why. It's always COVID. COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people don't like to say the word, but it's part of reality now. And did you have, other than music, did you have any projects that you did during COVID?
No, actually.
No, didn't do much? There
I
wasn't
pretty
much
yeah, I was at home for that period of
Yeah.
time. So
Man, yeah, and
spent a
that's-
lot of time with my grandson during that time. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is your grandson?
He'll be 8 on August 12th.
Okay,
Oh,
so
so-
we're
Coming up.
Yeah.
August 12th. Oh yeah, he has a birthday coming up. And
Yep.
speaking of birthday, Chris, he'll be
The following day, actually.
on the 13th.
The 13th.
13th of August.
Oh,
Yeah,
can I send one quick shout out?
Yeah.
Please, as many
So-
shout outs as you'd like.
My brother's birthday is on August 9th. So
Oh,
my
okay.
brother is the Deputy Director of Elections for Frederick, Maryland. So happy birthday, Andy.
Oh yeah, happy birthday! Shout out, yeah. So
Yeah, this will come out the 9th.
yeah,
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So perfectly, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
today.
in.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Tell him to watch, and then he'll get a special.
Oh yeah. So not to put you on the spot,
Sure.
but do you remember when we met, by any chance? And I'm not going to be offended if you're not, because I know that night was
Well,
just one of those busy nights.
It
and-
might have been a seed that you planted, though, because I think it was when I went to the Eagle's Nest
Okay.
for the fundraiser with that Lisa had asked me to come out for. Is
Yeah.
that correct? Okay.
And yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a fun.
yeah.
It was karaoke night.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it was karaoke night, and yeah, we admit really quick. Lisa had introduced to you as well, and yeah, but it was like everything was just happening, and it was just was going on, and so I like telling the story. So I remember when you two walked in with Lisa and Michael G
Mhm.
into the Eagle's Nest, and First thing Lisa comes over and she says, "You guys got to listen to Ron." I'm like, "Okay." She says, "He's a great singer." Of course, just sounds just like Luther Vandross, and I'm sure you get that a lot. Yeah, and you are. I'll put it out there. You are a great singer. So she comes in. She's telling she's telling everybody. And then I almost want to say once you guys walked in, within 5 to 10 minutes, you were already up there at the mic.
Yeah.
So you go up and you sing, and Ron, I have to say, everybody just stood still and watched you perform. And as myself and everybody's like, "Wow, that was awesome. You did a really awesome job." And the funny part, not the hard part, but right after that, I call him he's my cousin of mine. I call him my big brother because we kind of look similar.
Mm-hmm.
He was DJing. He was the one that was doing the karaoke.
Okay.
After you had finished, he says, "Up to the stage, little brother, Mario Garcia." Ron, I could not follow that.
Oh.
I couldn't follow. And I was like, "Nope, I am staying right here. Let the crowd get back to normal and get loud." And I was like, "Man, he put me on the spot." So I thought that was just a funny thing. And Lisa's like, "Yeah, go up there." I said,
Seriously?
No, we got to let the dust settle because Ron just tore it up here. But yeah, that was a good night. That was a fun night. Yeah. So Ron, so that's when we met. Like I said, it was really quick, and I gave you a card, and I said, "Hey, if you ever have a chance, check out my podcast." And go ahead.
No, that's funny you say that because as we had talked about the show,
Yeah.
I came across your card at home with my cards, and
Okay.
I'm like, "Wait a minute," and I'm thinking,
Who's this?
Chicken and the egg. I'm like, "Wait a minute. Did he give this to me after we talked about? How did I get this from him after we talked?" And then I remembered that you had given it to me that night. That is so funny. Okay. And
Yes, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So Ron, where are you originally from?
Topeka.
Topeka, Kansas.
Topeka.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. By any chance, do you ever go back and visit?
Occasionally, yeah. So my mom lived there until about 4 years ago, and she was living in a little, I don't know how you call it, the apartments for elderly people.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a little townhouse or a duplex.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved her to Kansas City. And then my sister's family still lives there. So we were just back for a wedding not too long ago in Topeka.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, not as often as I would like, but it's still home.
Yeah.
We'll be back. We were going to try and be back for the Fiesta, but generally we try and do that each year over the summer too. So
when's the date of that Topeka?
Fiesta is typically the second or third week in July.
Oh, okay.
Each year.
And you said you did make it out
Not
there?
this year.
No, you didn't.
No.
But you
have to wait till next year then.
I know. But they have great food and
Yeah,
so.
I think I do recall now, and I think we did make that 1 year. It's been a while, but it's something that's been ongoing, right, for the longest time.
Yes. Over since the early 1900s,
Yeah.
if not longer.
Holy cow! Are
actually.
you serious?
Yeah, that's awesome.
My grandfather was a musician,
Okay.
so they called him Don Antonio, and they lived not too far from. So in Topeka, am I getting too off the?
Nah.
No, please, no, you're
So
good.
in Topeka, there were two large groups of immigrants that worked. There's a section of Topeka called Oakland,
Okay.
and that's where the Santa Fe shops were. So the Santa Fe shops are where they would do repairs on locomotives or the cars.
Yeah.
So you had the Mexican immigrants that settled literally about a block away from Santa Fe, and they had a Catholic church and school called Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is still there.
Okay.
And then literally about 3/4 of a mile down the road, maybe a mile, there was an influx of German Russians. They called them the Volga Russians.
Volga?
Volga Russians. But they came and they formed Sacred Heart Catholic Church and Grade School. when my mom moved to Topeka, she met my dad shortly after, and then they actually got married and started raising the 5 of us about a block away from Sacred Heart. So we were the first Mexican family that started sending their kids to school there.
Okay.
And so every summer we did the Junafest, and we would help make, sauerbraten or kraut strudels.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was our festival for our church. And then we'd go and do the fiesta with other friends from our neighborhood. We'd see them, at the fiesta.
Yeah.
But so my grandfather, musician, he played all the stringed instruments. So he played the guitar, the guitarrón, violin, and he would give lessons to the kids in the neighborhood. He had 7 kids, and he did not. He wasn't good at giving lessons, I guess, to his own kids, but they did become musicians as well. So my Theo Louis was a trumpet player. My Theo Hank was a bass player, and my dad was a saxophone player. He played all the reed instruments. So, but my grandfather was in the first groups that provided the music for the fiesta. So that was kind of a connection that we had with that parish as well on my dad's side.
Okay, yeah, that's
back,
good.
so.
But what was it? What was it about? He couldn't teach the kids.
I don't know. It's the same way with me. I'm not good at. In general, I'm not a great teacher as far as being able to explain how I do what I do.
Yeah.
And I think it would be better answered by my daughter, because she's a wonderful singer, beautiful voice, but whenever she would have a solo in school, or she was the lead in her musical in grade school, oh my gosh, it was just like, sing this note, and it was just so frustrating for her. I felt bad for her at times, because I'm just not a good teacher. So, but I think it was the same.
Oh man, you're out there in the audience. You hear her singing flat, flat. Pick it up.
Exactly. Change your throat. I think I've said that to my grandson.
Is he a singer?
A little bit. He's in piano right now.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
But no, he was very strict, and I think he was just a little harder on his own.
I was about to say, because it's obviously his own kids. Like, come on, you should have the talent. I have the talent. You can do it. I can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What a lot of pressure, though. There is a lot of pressure in that.
Yeah, but then again, with my kids, they don't listen. So.
No, okay, hold on. First of all, hold on. It's not the same. There's no translation in this, because as far as I know, there's not necessarily anybody like musically talented in our family, if we're being honest.
True. Okay, yeah, you're right. I mean,
I honestly feel like it's such
good singer.
No.
The farthest we've got is us learning to play an instrument.
But like none of us are inherently like talented. None of us really go back to saying, oh, like from every other family that we've come in that are part of some kind of like family bands, like everybody plays, and weirdly the gene talent is kind of throughout that family. Like I don't know if it starts with someone picking it up and then everybody, but something about someone's got to start it. And I don't think anybody in our family necessarily picked up an instrument and was just
Do we have anything like that at
we
all?
There are a bunch of people who play instruments in our family. I mean, we're a very extended family.
But as a family, do we all have something in common that we're good at? A talent? I don't think so.
I think we're all somewhat good at art, different versions of art. I think we're all pretty skillful at.
Artiste, yeah.
Yeah.
And
but
this
musically,
is art. This is art.
Right, it is.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, but
I'm just saying, usually I think there's some genetic and just something in the lineage. It has to start with someone, but clearly in our family it didn't start with anybody. So you cannot.
We didn't have a musical bone in our body.
Yeah, we don't.
Mom and Dad didn't.
Well, there were 5 of us, and I always say that. So I was the youngest of the 5.
Okay.
I always thought I was the least talented singer. They all would sing together. I'm going to get in trouble with my sister. She got on me about this. I was on Lisa's show last January of 2023, I think.
Okay.
And she said, "Don't tell that story, Ron. You make us look bad." But
now you have to. Now you have to put it out there.
So they would in our house. You had the living room, and then you go up the stairs, and there was like a loft bedroom, which was the girls' bedroom.
Yeah. And
they would go upstairs and sing together, and like you're talking about with families, it's the physiology of it. The tones of their voices would blend like angels. They were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they would do like Bee Gees and Mamas and the Papas and the Beatles, and they'd sing all these harmonies. And I was the little brat little brother, the mama's boy that got him in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
And I would sit like halfway up the stairs and listen to them sing because they wouldn't let me go up in the room. And if I went up there, the girls would be like, "Mom, we're changing. Make Ron get out of." So that's how they kept me out of the room. But I gleaned a lot from listening to them.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, out of the five of us, I think we inherited our musical propensity, I guess, or talent from our dad.
Yeah.
But our mom had a beautiful voice. So I think we did get our voices from our mom.
Yeah.
Right?
And would mom sing, or was this
She sang
at church?
Yeah, I mean, I
Or-
would hear her sing just at Mass, just
Okay.
standing next to her and having her sing the hymns on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then she loved country music.
Okay.
So she was a Flint Hills girl growing up. She went to the one-room schoolhouse.
Wow.
And so she loved country music.
Yeah.
And then she met my dad, who was a jazz musician, and there was just lots of different kinds of music that we were exposed to growing up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's neat. That's and those I'm sure those are just great memories to have as well, right? I mean,
I cherish
music,
them.
yeah.
Before my mom passed away, I would go and we would sit outside in the courtyard, and I would pull up Pandora,
okay.
and I'd play the Johnny Cash. I'd create a Johnny Cash station or a
Uh-huh.
Hank Williams Jr. station, and we just sit there and I'd look up lyrics and I'd sing along with her, and she loved that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the
That's cool.
it's one of my
When
it's a
you
nice memory.
that is a very nice memory, touching memory as well. So you had said that was your childhood there, the fiestas and whatnot. Other than that, what other great childhood memories do you have growing up there in Topeka?
Our house was it's kind of it was a corner lot, and literally, so our house was on one end of the block. Off the opposite end of the block was the school, but it used to be this way, and people still talk about this, how it used to be where everybody knew everybody, right? They knew all the
Like
kids.
Cheers, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So, but you knew, everybody on the block, whose kids they were, where they were all the time.
Yeah.
But it just so happened that everybody would tend to congregate in our yard or playing out in the street. And that was the best part of growing up, was just all the kids in the neighborhood coming and playing in our yard. There was another large family that lived across the street from the church, the Kirkwoods.
Okay.
And the Kirkwoods, really great people, and they had multiple children. I think they had 7 kids, and roughly they fell into place with our ages, and so they would come down and hang out with us, and it was just
Ron, it's talking about this. It's it was the same on my street where I grew up. Our street, which was 15th Street in Argentine, was the street to go play. Everybody would come down to our street, and everybody was there. And on my street, there was a lot of us. Actually, it was family that lived across the street and up the hill, but everybody. And then we had a playground on the next street over, and that was the spot, Franklin Center. Everybody was there.
Okay.
Summers, winters, didn't matter, rain, snow. Everybody would go over there and play as well. And it's sad to say, but my kids, I don't think their generation, it's not the same as it was back then.
Right.
I even found this meme on Facebook, and I actually reposted it and saying it was just kids playing in the street, and it said something about when was the last time you yelled car?
Oh, I was just gonna say that as you were saying.
Have you guys ever done that?
Yeah, we did it all the time. I mean, especially because our house, this house was the place, because we have the pool, so all the cousins would be here every Sunday. So if we're not in the pool, we're over here doing something. And we do a lot of stuff across, because our cousins lived across the street as well, so we'd be kind of back and forth. So we did a car a lot. We were playing out there. That's like the most iconic thing you can say. It's like, a car! And you just stop
car.
out to the side and you just watch it, and you look down the street like, all right, we're good.
And
then you go right back
then
to
you
it.
have to yell, game on, and everybody just go back to normal.
How about the sewer?
Yeah.
Frisbee's in the sewer,
yeah.
baseball's in the sewer, and one person we
That's a
would
good
lift
in
the
there.
manhole cover up, and one person would have to go down
Yeah.
or reach
Yep.
down and get the ball out of there.
You guys ever been down in a manhole?
No, but I know you have, because we had to make you go down there to get our stuff.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I had to be the one to go.
eventually we just started putting plywood or something in front of the sewers.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
put
See,
some-
we weren't that
put-
smart.
Yeah,
That's
put
funny.
something.
We blocked it off. We'd grab a ball and we'd go put it up to the bar and like, okay, we know this won't go in the sewer.
You know, it's funny because on 15th Street we had that manhole, that sewer, but I think there was a handle on it. We were able just to lift it and move it.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Nowadays,
They're heavy.
nowadays they're
You use
even
a crowbar,
heavier.
yeah.
We have to use that crowbar, and then it's hard to
Angle it, yeah.
get it in there, and then once you turn it, and you got to. The way they make them nowadays is pretty heavy. So like I said, the childhood memory with the kids playing. Are they still across the street? The neighbors that you said?
No.
Not-
So that's a good question.
What'd you say their last name was?
Kirkwoods.
Kirkwoods, yeah,
Were the
the-
family that
yeah.
lived across the street from the church. I think maybe one of the kids has the house.
Okay.
We used to call them Ma and Pa Kirkwood,
Oh, okay.
and they were just the nicest people. And we would go there, and it's always interesting when you go into when you're young and you meet someone and you've never been to their house before, and then the first time you go into their house, like, wow, they have this. They had a room. I remember you went to the living room, and then the dining room, and then they had a side room, and I think there was a whole wall full of like games and toys. I was like, wow, we don't have a toy room.
A toy room.
It was just fascinating to be in that other house, but you could get scolded and yelled at and corrected, and that's just the way it was, because everybody considered everybody else's kids
Yeah.
kind of their own kids, right? And we all went to the same school, and so
Yeah, and then you said you know there was 5 of you, right?
Mhm.
Siblings. So there's of course different ages,
Mhm.
and so of course you had different age kids come around, and
Yep.
everybody played with everybody. It
Mhm.
didn't matter. The older kids didn't stick with the older kids. Everybody just played.
Right.
It was just one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. As far as siblings, how many boys and girls?
So there were 3 girls and 2 boys.
3 girls, 2 boys,
Mhm.
and you're
So-
the youngest.
Mhm.
And then your older brother's where? In the
He's
middle.
in Maryland. Oh, he is the middle. Yeah.
Oh, he
yeah.
is in the middle,
Mhm. Yeah.
and he lives in Maryland, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, okay, well, this podcast will reach Maryland.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, what schools did you attend? So in elementary, you said it was Catholic school,
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart, and then
Hayden, which is a Catholic high school.
Okay.
In Topeka. And then
Topeka Hayden. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
familiar with that.
and then on to KU. So
Oh, okay.
So it's funny because all of us at some point were at KU, and our mom was a huge K-State fan.
Huh.
So, and I had this conversation with somebody not too long ago, because
Uh-huh.
I don't remember her being a K-State fan forever, but I guess she was. I guess she was always. But I always say that she loved K-State, but she sent a lot of money to KU. So she was at least willing to do that.
Yeah. So of course we were always KU. I've always said I was born in KU Med. Here,
Okay.
but then my oldest son, he attended K-State.
Okay.
So we started wearing the purple and the
Yeah.
white, and
Ema.
and like you said, emo, yeah, and like you said, that's where all my money went. And so people would ask me, well, so what made you switch? I'm like, my son goes to school there, and they're like, well, you didn't. I'm like, my money sure did, So yeah, that's how we became K-State fans.
Well, and my brother-in-law and his family are huge K-State fans.
Okay.
So my sister Lydia, her husband Kevin, another great guy. So we would always rib him during basketball season, and then he would always get back at us during football season. One of the best memories I have. So when I came back from DC, been doing some anthems for different teams in the area.
Okay.
And so I was in the rotation for KU basketball, for KU men. And actually, I started doing all of their different teams for their pink games, for their Jayhawks for a Cure games each year. But my mom had never been to a game at Allen Fieldhouse before. And so that season, there was one season, I was like, I want to do the KU K-State game.
Yeah.
because I want my mom to go.
Yeah.
So I got it. And they always normally give me really good seats. We typically right behind the basket, like in the front row of the student section.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I can't remember. I think my mom had fallen and sprained her ankle. So she had a cane.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't always have a cane at that point. But when we went in, all of the ushers knew me.
Yeah.
And they introduced them, and they're like, "Oh, your mom." And I think they thought that she always had the cane. And they're like, "Come with us, come with us."
Yeah.
So there are some like handicap seating right on the floor, right behind the basket. And they said, "Ron, you and your mom, you're sitting right here." So we were in the front row of that section right behind the basket, which were the best seats I had ever had.
Yeah.
And so she loved it. And it was the year that K-State was either ahead of us most of the game. Like, it was a fantastic game for K-State. And then Sviatoslav Mikhailuk scored like a last-second like breakaway layup or something. And I think they said he traveled on the last.
Oh, I
he
do
made
remember
the last
that.
second shot.
I do remember that.
And
Yeah.
KU won. But I'm
Yes.
like, well, Mom had like 99% of a fantastic night. We
Until
still
that
got the
layup.
win, but
Yeah.
so that was really cool. I mean, one of the things I didn't get to do before she passed, I really wanted to do one at Bramlage.
Yeah.
And be able to take her, but at least she got Allen, and she got a great K-State game. So
Yeah. So you've been to Bramlage as well.
I haven't been to.
Oh,
Bramlage.
no?
Mm-mm, no.
Yeah. It's a fun atmosphere. Yeah.
Octagon of Doom.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun. I had the honor to go to a K-State KU game there in Bramlage, and wow, yeah, it gets crazy. It's really
Oh, I
really
bet.
fun. Yeah. As far as high school, did you have a favorite class in high school?
Probably music.
Music was
Yeah.
your class, right?
Yeah.
And was it like a choir class? Or?
Hayden Singers.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what
So
you guys would call.
typically Hayden Singers was like juniors and seniors. I think I got in as a sophomore maybe, or as a freshman. I can't remember.
That good, huh?
Well, I mean, but the instructor, that's the other nice thing about having siblings that just went through who were also singers, is that the teacher knew me. They had been told about me by my sister, Lydia. She had just graduated, and she had been in Hayden Singers for a couple of years. So
Okay.
she kind of greased the skids for me a little bit. So
Yeah. That's,
but I will say, I was one of those kids that I liked school. I wasn't really consistent on my homework, but I was really good at music, and anything that was English related, math, algebra, but English, arts, anything that was arts related to music.
Is there a certain song or anything that you remember doing or there?
Every year for graduation, we would do the Irish Blessing for graduation mass.
Okay.
I can't remember if we would do it at the graduation ceremony, but Hayden Singers would sing that song. It was a beautiful song. And then I remember one year we were doing, I can't remember if it was homecoming or winter sports, and they selected Cherish the Night. I don't know. That's an old Kool and the Gang song.
Yeah, Cherish. Yeah.
Yes. So I think I did that one for one of those. But yeah, just
And that's a cool song too.
I'm trying to think of it.
Yeah, I don't know
Kool
if
and the
you've ever
Gang.
heard. It's a really cool song. Yeah, so like in middle school, it's funny. I think I did, I guess choir, but I only did it
No.
because everybody was like, "Oh, it's an easy class. You just go in there and you sing, and if you don't feel like singing, just lip
Fake it,
sync.
yeah.
Yeah, just fake it, you know." And but that didn't work because I remember our teacher would sometimes say, "Okay, your turn and your turn," and I don't know how that worked. But one of the songs that I remember to this day, and when I hear it, is that "The Sound of Silence" by Simon and Garfunkel.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear that song, it takes me back to my 7th grade, 8th grade year.
Okay.
Damn, is that old?
It's even older than that.
Damn.
You know, so
I realize how old that song was now that I think about it.
One thing about music, like the way we started off the show with music brings back memories.
Yeah.
You know, there's a song you hear and it takes you to
Absolutely.
when you first heard it, or when mom and dad we were driving on a trip, and there's so many songs that, like Bob Seger's one, I can listen to him and it's just his, you know, the way he sings, his music was great. I've always thought, you know, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, and it always reminded me of Little League Baseball during the summers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would see. That's what I'm saying. I'd hear that, and I imagine myself. Oh yeah, I remember going to a baseball game, or something like that. Is there any songs out there that?
Well, as you were telling that,
Yeah.
when I was little, my dad would play. I was probably 5 or 6, maybe, but my dad would play Lowrider on the stereo system.
Yeah.
And we get behind each other and we would just do this little dance.
Shuffle?
Yeah,
There we go,
like,
yeah.
That's one thing I just
See,
totally remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then so like when you hear that song,
Yeah.
that pops in your head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jungle was the run out song for the guys football team at Hayden. So that's
so
a
they
song
would
that
use it.
sticks out.
And I think the Chiefs, might still
Oh, do
use
they?
it.
Okay.
They
I don't
might.
know.
I remember. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
The Bengals should use it if they
And
don't.
yeah,
That's
I
just
know-
wild.
I know. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Bengals and the Browns.
That's
Nah,
that'd be lame.
I know.
That'd be lame if they did.
Yeah. Marcos, do you have any songs that you listen to and kind of takes you back to your high school days 4 years ago?
Well, it's more than 4. It's more than 4 at this point. But I mean, there's always other songs here and there that just pop up memories. But there's no specific songs that could take me back to such a specific date.
Unless you
I
hear-
mean, I have to hear them. There's no way I could just.
Unless
think
you
of
hear a
them.
song that I used when I would choreograph. a
Well, yeah.
dance
I
for
mean,
you
there's
guys.
those.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the problem with those is it wasn't until later that I realized just like you mix like 12 songs together for a dance we did.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many, like, I listened to one part of a song and then it keeps going. I'm like, I don't remember that part. And then I hear the other part of the song and I'm like, okay. And then I start putting it together. I'm like, God,
Yeah.
how many songs did he cut together to
I
make
know,
this
and-
one dance routine?
And it's funny you say that because your mom had pulled up some old videos, and there was a dance that I had choreographed for your cousin Mia.
Yeah,
Her quinceañera,
Uh-huh.
that surprise dance.
yeah.
And I watched that video, and I was like, wow, that was a lot of songs. There was like 7 or 8 songs.
You went from like Jump On It to like something else to freaking
To Egypt. and-
yeah, Egyptian Lover. Like, oh my God, I was
Yeah. Ron, were you a breakdancer back in the day?
No, I couldn't
No?
dance to save my life. My wife jokes about that. My wife's a great dancer.
Oh, okay.
I can't. We used to call this in the Army band. We would do the corral bop. It was like dunt, dunt, to the left, to the right. I couldn't. Anything beyond that, I am lost.
So, okay, look.
I also can't do the tambourine and sing at the same time.
not to follow your own rhythm.
I can't.
It's funny you say there was a movie. Charlie Sheen. I cannot remember the movie, but they would do that song. That's the sound of the man working on
Yeah.
the chain. And they would all be together just like you were doing right now.
Yeah.
And they'd clap and they would sing that song while they were doing their march. I think it was like they were in a prison camp. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, and he was the only American in this, well, the white guy, and all the other guys were black. So they all loved that song.
Yeah.
And he was right, and he had the rhythm, and they would make fun of him, but he fit right in. I wish I could remember the name of that movie, but yeah, that and so when I hear that song, I remember that movie. You know, it's just one of those things.
So it sounds like you choreographed. Did you guys do dance routines?
Yeah, we did a couple throughout. Like, so for quinceañeras, my dad had done one, and then I had done one for like a school, like talent show. He choreographed the whole thing.
Okay.
Some others.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else than just those couple.
yeah, probably.
Little stuff
I'm
here
sure
and there.
there's-
But yeah, he's done choreographing. I mean, we're not we're better dancers than we are singers or instrument
I
players.
can do both, son.
What's your go-to move?
Pop and
As far as dancing, yeah,
can
that's
pop
why
and lock.
that's why I brought up the break dance. I'm one of those guys that I'm that old school guy that if the DJ plays some kind of break dance or we used to listen to back in the 80s.
Look at the perfect beat.
Oh
Search
yeah,
for the perfect beat.
I'm out there. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. Yeah, you don't have to twist my arm.
Well, I just happen to have some cardboard here now.
Yeah.
Some vanoli.
Yeah, it's an Olympic sport now.
What?
Break
Yeah,
dancing.
breakdancing became.
Is it really?
This summer.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so August 10th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so August 10th. Yeah, I think that's when that starts, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. But
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think are you familiar with the Jabberwockies?
Yeah.
They're they were on the what was the name of that show that they just won America's Best Dance Group or
Yeah,
something?
I'm pretty
like
sure that's what it was. I mean, they've been on all the talent
and then
shows.
now
but-
they have their and I've always been a big fan of their dance. I mean, it took me back. And they do their own thing in Vegas. They have a Vegas show.
Okay.
So, and then I just saw some. I'd be surprised if none of those guys are in the Olympics because they were good.
Okay.
So I don't. Yeah, it's kind of wonder. I wonder how they do that. How they pick a team of 12
Right.
from the U.S. and I'm really stoked to see it and see. The
I
only
think
thing
those guys would eventually have to age out. Like, do they just slowly replace them because we never see their face? So it's like just entirely
you're talking
new.
about the
It's not even
Jabberwockies
the
'cause they wore a
originals.
mask?
Yeah, it's not even the originals anymore. It's probably like a new generation.
Yeah, you're right because that's probably been good maybe 10 years or so.
More
right?
than that. Are
Oh
you
yeah,
kidding
it's
me?
been like they've been around for a
It's
long
almost
time.
like
right?
I want to say 15 to 20 because
Oh,
America's Best
man.
Dance Crew was like the early 2000s, man.
Was it really?
Like 2008.
That was like one of the best calls. I always thought, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say it was better than American Idol, but I think for what I like to do, what I like to see the dancing. But American Idol was cool too. I'm sure you used to like watching that. Did you ever attempt it?
No, not America.
No.
I was when that first came out. I was already too old.
Oh.
It was a 25.
Wait a minute, hold
Come
on.
on,
There's a lot of different types of people that went out for American Idol.
No, the age limit is 25.
Was it?
No, I've
I
seen
think
so
so.
many.
No,
old
I think, but
people,
now,
though.
but now they
American
do
Idol-
it.
No.
Yeah,
American
when
Idol.
American
still
Idol
has an
first
age
started.
limit. But
What?
like The Voice and America's Got Talent, they don't have an age limit.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right to me because there's so many clips out there of these older people who go on. I mean, usually they play. There's terrible people that go on.
maybe
to,
they
yeah,
maybe
I
they
mean,
let
it's
them
a part of the old. It's like
maybe they let them just try out.
well, they
and then
gotta have their mixture of American Idols, like those who can sing and those who are horrendously bad, just for. I swear I've seen older people.
You gotta let everybody try.
That's
Well,
I know it's a lot more-
Like they would let you try, and you're horrible.
well, okay, that's true, but okay.
When it first came out, it was
I think there was.
a
You're
25
right.
year cap.
Don't argue.
And I think I was 28 or 29 when it came out.
Yeah.
So, but what I did do, I had just moved to DC, and I had seen the stuff for Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh, okay.
So, since I was that close, I'm like, I might as well try it. So, I went up and they do like a cattle call audition, just everybody off the street, and then if you win that audition, then you go on to the show. And Steve Harvey was still hosting it at the
Oh
time.
yeah.
Holy cow!
That was still, I think.
Did he?
towards
He
end
had
of
the
his-
hair. He had the nice
Flat top.
No,
No, I think he had a nice fro, maybe.
no, I think he just said, yeah, I think he had just a little bit of a flat top,
Yeah.
maybe. But that was, I think, towards the end of his first stint on the show.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I won one episode, lost the second one, but that was a cool experience. And like you say, they have people on there that are just, you're like, I didn't even see them in the auditions, but they I think would have people that purposely,
Yeah.
and I think a couple of them may have been like staff that
Yeah.
I can't sing. Well, get out there and
Yeah, that's just we got. Yeah, it's what you would call made for TV. You know.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, let's we'll go ahead and get into the to let our viewers and listeners know, especially you, Chispas. Shout out to Sammy Sparks. You are a professional singer, right?
Correct.
Am I correct? Yeah. And so, or is it a vocalist? What would you say? Because I didn't realize there was so many names
Like
that could be
categories.
used
Yodelers.
for singer.
Well,
Or
yeah, I don't know
vocalist.
about that. A sub form of it.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
I think I use them all at different points. It just depends on what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I think ultimately you want to be considered an artist.
Yeah.
That's honing your craft and that's going out and sharing that. But singer or vocalist, I think I use them interchangeably.
Yeah, I mean, because like there's vocalist, musician, diva, vocalizer, songbird, artist, soloist, songster. I mean, there's so many names.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I have no idea what Ron goes by here. Entertainer, Devo, voice,
Yeah.
yodeler. Oh, yeah, did you say that? Who's a yodeler?
Kristen.
Chris, yeah.
Oh,
Cantor, lead singer. Pick one, Ron.
Singer, vocalist.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting when I saw that. So yeah, like I said, I didn't realize there were so many. So where did the love of music come from? Is it from,
Definitely from my
from the
home.
family? Right?
Yeah. I would say my father, to this day, has still been the biggest influence on me musically that I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I played clarinet. We all played. My brother and I both played the clarinet. All the girls played guitar in school. But I think one of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my whole life. I was at KU and I was in the jazz choir, and part of our final was to sing. We did a concert at the Lead Center, and you had to take a solo on the concert, and they would judge you. You had to do a little scatting. And there was a gentleman.
I'm sorry, did you say scatting?
Scatting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm not a scatter. So,
Okay, hold on. What's a scatter?
so
Like-
in jazz, when you listen to jazz music, the solos are improvised, right? So the horn player, the guitar player, piano player is going to play a solo based on the chords within that song, but they're improvising. They're making up this solo as they go. Like, you know what a solo is.
Yeah. Okay.
But vocalists, like true jazz vocalists, and this is my own personal opinion, a true jazz vocalist needs to be able to improvise a solo like an instrumentalist would, right? So they're still singing doing
Yeah.
those type things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't do it. I mean, I can do something. I don't know if you've ever heard of Al Jarreau.
Oh yeah.
So Al Jarreau, probably the second biggest musical influence on me, but Al Jarreau was an incredible scatter, and I could copy the things that he did, but as far as being able to just come up with something on my own on the mic, I can't do that. So I don't consider myself a true jazz singer.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of American songbook stuff, like a ton of Sinatra and things like that, but there's just this upper tier shelf of jazz singers that are just phenomenal,
Uh-huh.
like instrumentalists almost. But this gentleman came over after we were done. He was an adjunct professor at the time. His name was Chuck Berg, and he used to play a lot of gigs with my uncle. And he came over, and everybody would always say, Gutierrez, who's your dad? Is your dad Hank or is your dad Tony? And so he came over, and I said, my dad was Tony. And he put his hands on my shoulders, and he said, you know what? You sing exactly the way your dad played.
Really?
And I'm looking at him, and he goes, your dad had this smooth tone, but when he wanted to, he could put an edge on it anytime he wanted, and you sing exactly like that. And my dad had stopped playing in clubs and things before I really was old enough to be into music. So I would assume it's maybe just having heard him rehearse or play at the house, right? But somehow that crossed over into what I did. And I mean, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I've never had anyone give me a greater compliment than
Yeah.
that.
No, that's cool.
But yeah, it was instilled from an early age in our house. So.
That's pretty cool. Where would you say it started, the singing? How old were you?
I mean, when I got into kindergarten,
Yeah. That's
from kindergarten through 8th grade, I was the singer
Yeah.
at Sacred Heart.
Oh, okay.
So, but we would just singing in class and singing for different school functions.
Okay.
And then I got to start cantering for our school masses, I think, when I was in 4th grade. And that's another huge part of it, too, is our church experience. Just singing at Mass on Sundays. And then I got to start cantering for the parish masses, I think, when I was in 6th grade. So, yeah, it was all built around our home and our community.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're young. You're hitting those, is it falsetto, like when you're young before puberty,
Yes,
and hitting those high notes, them high hymns.
Yes, I told my brother recently, I reminded him, there was a gentleman named Mr. Flowers.
Mr. Flowers.
He used to live a couple blocks away, and he was an organist in Topeka. And he got together this group of kids that were in the 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade, boys, and we formed a little choir that could do like weddings, and we would do all those high Latin like soprano voices like the Vienna Boys Choir, and he would hire us out to do different events like that. So anyway,
That's cool.
yes.
Yes. It's my wife, Sandy.
Sandy, pleasure to meet you.
This is Ron. Yeah. So what genre of music is it that you sing now? Well,
Mostly soul and rhythm and blues.
soul and rhythm and
Yeah.
blues. Do you do any jazz? Have you done some jazz like Al Jarreau?
A little bit of Giro every once in a while, but I also do a lot of the Sinatra stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting over the last
The Rat
10 or
Pack.
15 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gone in cycles. So I was doing some singing with the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra, and that was mostly a lot of Sinatra, American Songbook stuff. So people would hear me in that environment over at the Kaufman, and they would say, wow, he's a Sinatra singer. And they didn't know that I did anything else. And then there were people that would hear me sing at like the Grub and Groove Festival doing all the R&B, and they're like, oh, he's an R&B singer. And they didn't know I did any of the Sinatra. So it's interesting. There are different pockets of people
Yeah.
that know me for doing certain things and not everything else.
Like
So-
what favorite song of Sinatra do you?
Oh my gosh. One of my favorite songs is One for My Baby.
Okay.
And he used to say that was a good drunk song. But it was a saloon song, right?
Uh-huh. Good track song.
I think every time he would perform it on on a TV show or something, they'd always have a little small bar set on the stage, and he would sit at the bar and sing to the bartender. And
Oh,
so, yeah.
that's cool. Did you like Sammy Davis Jr.? He sang, right?
He did. I don't do a lot of Sammy
How about
Davis
the
stuff.
Rat
some?
Pack.
How about some? Yeah, like the Rat Pack, like Dean
Yeah.
Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
My dad, so he was a jazz musician.
Yeah.
So another interesting story is that when I had just graduated from high school, and I was going to KU, I would come back over the summer, and there was a woman in Topeka named Jerry Van, and she had like a little piano bar set up at a place called the Green Parrot in Topeka.
The Green Parrot.
Yeah, and so I would go in, and I was just this little preppy Mexican kid that would go in there, and I introduced myself to her. Well, come to find out, she and these guys, it was Dave Overmeyer on drums,
Seeger.
Bob Strait,
Bob
Don Strait, sorry, Don Strait would play piano occasionally, Bob McVeigh on bass.
A lot of Bobs.
And, yes, but they used to gig with my dad, so they knew my dad, and so Jerry started teaching me all of this Sinatra stuff that I had not really sung before.
Yeah.
And my dad didn't even know that I was going to this place because it was like a 21 and over club, and I just looked older than I was. But then fast forward, I did a gala for the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra. It was called a Toast. We did the Sinatra at the Sands album. We did all of the music from that famous album that he did with Count Basie.
Okay.
And I invited Jerry to come to that concert, and so I got her a seat right in the front row.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just so cool that she taught me when I was like 19 all the Sinatra stuff to begin with, and then now fast forward, she got to see me sing at the Kaufman Center.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. That was a cool
The
moment.
Kaufman Center. Well, I mean, what's it like to sing in that facility?
The Kaufman is acoustically beautiful.
Yeah.
In Hellsberg, which is where the symphony plays and the jazz orchestra play, just oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean it's amazing.
Yeah. We've been in that facility. We went to go see Los Tigres del Norte.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did that, and there was mariachis that played there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really cool. Its sound.
Echoed.
Yeah, it had a great sound to it. So I'm sure that's why I ask you, for someone who sings, do you hear it like we hear it? I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's,
And when you stand on stage, because one thing that the jazz orchestra would do is that they would use microphones, which is not something that it was designed for. But they really have done a great job of kind of retrofitting the electronic sound within that hall. But just standing on stage and singing a cappella with no microphone, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and could you see the crowd?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there a light on you?
I mean, there's lights on you, so it's like you can see like some of the first row, but I mean that's about it, right?
It's not as intense as a regular concert, so I could actually, I could see the people.
Yeah,
Probably about halfway back on the bottom.
really.
On the side.
Is that something that is done purposely?
Yeah, I mean,
like for comics and
usually they put on the lights. I mean, it's one for you, just so you're clear up there from every angle. But it is kind of like it helps you not focus on the people,
on the audience.
I mean, obviously comics do crowd work, so they kind of want to see the people. But I mean, objectively, if you're in the moment and you're singing, you're just kind of feeling like you're singing to yourself. I mean, you're just singing outward, not necessarily at them. I feel like.
But one thing that I've always done, and it seems strange, I think, to people when I'm singing somewhere like the Reserve, I purposely focus up, because I've always felt that the people that buy the tickets that are up top don't necessarily get the attention as the people on the bottom. So I purposely look around and I want to connect with the people up on the second and third tiers. But I do that
to let them know that, hey, I see you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because everybody spent their hard-earned money to come see that show, and I want them to have that connection as well. But I also do it at the Reserve. It's just a habit now.
Yeah.
So I'm also looking up what I'm singing, and there's only like 50 people here.
Yeah.
And everybody in the front is like, where's he looking?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what?
He must know somebody up there on top, because he keeps looking up there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So funny story. You're talking about those people up on top. So I am a teacher, and so I had a kindergarten class, and we went, and they put us in the front row, up on the balcony, with kindergartners. I could not relax that whole time because I was like, no, sit back. No.
Because I'm sure they want to get up and
they want to look. They can't sit still.
How close is there? Is there like any kind of like just a railing, not much protection? Or?
That was just a railing. I mean, I was not. I was so nervous the whole time.
Seatbelts on those, huh?
No seatbelts. No.
Yeah, because the wall is maybe to about right here, and then I think there's just a small
Mm-hmm.
railing.
Yeah. So try sitting there with a bunch of kindergartners, 5-year-olds. That would.
See, that didn't even click into me immediately, but you as a teacher, you're like, that was the first thing that you
Yes. Yeah,
there's no way for you to enjoy
oh no,
what you're there for,
no, I know, because I was too busy watching and like, sit back.
So this is a behind-the-scenes story.
Okay.
So one of the years we did it, I can't remember if we were doing music from movies or motion pictures or something, and I had a big thing of like a martini, and I had a white dinner jacket on, and I was going to come out like James Bond.
Okay.
So I'm coming from the top of the stairs on the side of the stage, and it's dark because I didn't want anybody to see me. And I took 2 steps down, and I went down.
Uh-oh.
And I barely grabbed the railing that was there, and I spun around like 180 degrees and slammed my shoulder into the wall. And only a small group of people that were there in the balcony saw me. But oh my gosh, that would have been really bad. But I did catch myself, and I didn't drop the glass.
I was gonna say,
Wow.
did you hold on to that martini?
I did. I didn't drop the glass, so that was.
Man, Ron, who would you say is your favorite singer?
I would say it is a toss-up between Frank Sinatra and Luther.
And Luther Vandross.
Luther Vandross. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure, like I started off telling you, that you sound like him, and Lisa said the same thing, and we hear that a lot. Of course, when your name comes up, oh yeah, the Mexican Luther Vandross. So I didn't know how you took that. I mean, how do you?
It's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
I've told people that there's never been a voice like Luther's. There will never again be another voice like Luther's. So to be mentioned in that same breath is, I mean, that's a huge compliment, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm quick to tell people that I'm not. To me personally, I don't think I sound that much like Luther. I mean, if you played a recording of Luther and me at the same time,
Right.
you would hear the difference, right?
Yeah.
But I think the beautiful thing right now is that we don't have Luther anymore, right? So to be able to go out and present these songs and bring that music, you were talking about that connection, right? So when I'm singing those songs, I can see that in people's eyes and on their faces of, oh yeah, I remember, and they'll tell me, oh my gosh, that was our song, or oh, I remember where I was when I heard that song.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
That is really such a cool experience to have, and to be able to share that with people. So
That's cool. Yeah. I had David Tinoco in here.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that episode or took a peek at that, but we actually, I think we put out a clip when he's, he does Bring Your Name Up. And but
awesome.
but it's funny though. He said, I knew he was going to say. I think he was trying to say Luther Vandross, but I think Barry White stuck in his head.
Oh, okay.
So he said, "Oh yeah, he's a Mexican Barry White," and I'm thinking, okay, I like Barry White had that, that low voice, but I knew what he was saying. Yeah, yeah. So speaking of Luther Vandross, I actually listened to his catalog, knowing you were coming in, and never too much.
Great song.
Oh my god! Yeah, I mean, just the music, that the way it starts, and then that is a great song. And then I realized, I'm like, man, he is really good. You don't listen. I don't listen to him much, but when I sat there and listened to his essentials, his greatest hits, I'm like, this guy had a lot of hits, and he covered as well. He did some cover, and I didn't realize that.
Expert cover artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you would never know about the original. Once Luther, and it's a lot like Sinatra.
Yeah.
Anytime Sinatra sang a song, that's a Sinatra song. It doesn't matter how many people covered that standard for years. Now it's a Sinatra song. Same thing with Luther. I mean, most of the songs that he covered by other artists, those are now Luther songs, and you would never know.
Yeah.
It had been someone else's. But
Yeah, because then he do Endless Love.
He did Endless Love.
With Mariah Carey?
He did that. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
It was Mariah Carey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, that's what, and then I was like, oh, I didn't realize. So, again, now, I know you're a big fan. I mean, how much of a fan, how much do you know about Luther? Would you say?
It's interesting.
If I gave you a little quiz on
time.
Luther,
Oh, wow.
I want to see.
I'm not, I'm a fan of Luther's. I don't know that I'm an expert on everything.
When's his
Luther,
birthday?
though. Oh my gosh, I should know that.
Yes, you should know that, Ron, because
Are we going
I
to
think-
edit that out?
no, but I mean, I couldn't tell you when his birthday is.
April? Is it April?
You didn't do your research?
I did do my research, but that was just one thing.
generally don't ask
That
a
was one thing
question
where
unless
I was like,
somebody
I know he's going to know this, so why do I need to know? But anyway, look. So I did. You know what? Let's do a little quiz. I'll ask you a question, and Yeah, I think they're pretty simple. I said, question number 1: how many times did Luther Vandross win a Grammy for the Best Male R&B Vocal Performance Award?
R&B male vocals.
Would you know?
2.
I can do it this way. Was it 0, 5, 1, or 4?
Oh.
I will do multiple choice.
I think it was 4.
Yep.
4. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yay.
Yeah.
There you
cool.
go.
I gave you some, yeah.
Is this
Number
$50 a clip?
Right.
All right, we're done playing this game.
That's awesome.
Number 2, Luther Vandross had the most Grammy nominations in the history of the category of Best Male R&B Vocal Performance with 15. True or false?
True.
The correct answer was false.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. It seemed high.
Well, yeah.
I didn't know if it was a trick question.
Yeah, and that was I missed that one too, because I took this quiz as well. Which of the 5 boroughs of New York City was Luther Vandross born in?
Oh. Is there a multiple choice?
Yeah, yes there is. Manhattan, Bronx, Queen, or Brooklyn?
It's Queen.
No, it was Manhattan.
No.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Double check that, Chris.
The correct
Okay.
answer was Manhattan. Yeah,
Okay.
because I thought it was Brooklyn myself. Yeah.
Okay. Manhattan. Okay.
Yeah, he was born April 20th, 1951. He was the youngest of
said
4
April.
children.
Yep.
April, I did say
You
April.
got that. Yep.
Yeah.
And
April 20th.
they called him Uncle Ronnie, and my sisters call me Ronnie.
Oh, yeah?
Ronald Luther Vanzoni. His real name was.
Oh, that's not his real name?
Yeah, no, I didn't go into that.
Ronzoni Vandross, sorry.
Oh, okay.
In 1978, African-American movie adaptation of the Wizard of Oz musical, did Vandross have a small part
The Wiz.
as it was The Wiz. Oh, that was pretty simple. I'll give you a bell for that one, Ron.
Nice.
What is the title of the first album released by Luther Vandross?
That was Never Too Much.
Ooh, that's 150 now.
I believe
Oh,
in
this coming out of your pocket.
1980, I think.
Was it 1980? 1981. Close
81.
enough.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll give you one bell for that.
Okay.
Who did Luther Vandross perform with on the 1994 duet "Endless Love"? And I gave you.
I was
that
going to say,
answer.
you just said that, didn't
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Nine,
I did.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
Right.
There you go. In 1986, Luther Vandross faced manslaughter charges in the death of Larry Salvanmini. True or false?
True.
What?
That is true.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
He
Yeah.
was driving, and I think
Oh.
lost control of the vehicle, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
Larry was the manager for his younger brother,
Yep.
Jimmy, and when the brothers and Vandross were involved in a car accident resulting into Larry's death, Vandross would end up pleading no contest to reckless driving.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a pretty sad moment. Didn't mean to bring down that. What is the title of the only Luther Vandross album to reach #1 on the Billboard album charts?
Was it Dance with My Father?
Yeah,
Yeah,
was.
it was his last
That's yeah, and that song, that's another song that I listened to,
Mhm.
and it touched me just because I lost my father in 2017,
one. Okay.
not too long ago, and listening to that song, I was like, wow. And then I almost want to remember hearing this song at a wedding or something that somebody wanted to play, for, losing their dad. Yeah, that was pretty tough. Oh, I'll give you both of them. From 1981 to 2007, how many U.S. R&B #1 hit singles did Luther have? That's a tough question.
From 81?
Yeah, from 81 to 2007.
You have
Wow.
multiple choice there?
Is that a multiple choice?
Let me see. Number 9. Yep, he had 0, 7, 10, or 3.
0, 7, 10, or 3?
Mm-hmm.
And that, what was the rank again? What was it? The
from
category?
from R&B #1 hit singles.
7?
Give yourself a
Yeah.
bell, Ron.
Nice.
Yep, he had 7. I actually get 7 too, so I think I was
I
pretty.
have that tattooed on my. No, I'm just-
But we can. I know a tattoo artist that can do it for you, Ron. And number 10. This is, of course, a pretty sad one, but the cause of Luther's death in July of 2005 was never released publicly. True or false?
no, that's false.
The answer is true.
You mean
Yep.
there's a story and
Yeah, it is known that he had diabetes and high blood pressure, as well as suffering a stroke in 2003.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the stroke part of it, but okay.
yeah. So that's pretty sad, but
So
right,
he
I think
passed away from the stroke or from his diabetes? Or?
What was it?
Maybe specifically, I don't think they ever said,
Oh, okay.
because it was a while after he had the stroke. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just always assumed it was complications from that.
And he passed at 54.
Yeah.
That's a young age. Oh, that's my age.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man.
Thinking about all that he's accomplished
I know.
in that time frame, and what do you have to leave behind?
This episode.
Yeah, there we go. No, you have now. All of our grandkids will be able to watch these, as you know,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
If
and be
we
able
have
to
grandkids,
have
yeah.
and be able to have that to be able to see Grandpa and what he
True.
used to do.
That
So,
is legacy.
Mhm.
Honestly, that's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that's.
And now there's at least an episode for your grandkids and
Exactly.
great grandkids to
Exactly.
be able to
Right?
see Grandpa, great grandpa.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for being here.
And that was the cool thing about that when Lisa was with us and made it onto the show and not even knowing that this was going to happen. And at least now there's a record, you know, that we could share with everyone and everyone can
Yeah.
still have a piece of her, you know.
You know,
So-
that episode with Lisa, may she rest in peace, was really fun. And I tell people that if you didn't know Lisa, and if you watch the episode that we had with her, you'd be like, oh, I felt like I knew her already.
Oh yeah.
It was just one of those episodes. Yeah, she was so much fun. Do you cover or do you have your own music, correct? Or are you
No.
working on it? Yeah.
In a way.
Okay.
Yeah. But mostly covers. Yeah.
Mostly
it's covers now. After the viral things happened last year, I've had a lot of songwriters reaching out, and it's been again, that's hugely complimentary, right? But not having a mechanism to do something with those songs, right? I haven't, because if you have someone presenting one of their best songs to you,
Yeah.
and you take it, but you don't have anything that you can do with it, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So we're getting to that point slowly,
Okay.
but surely.
Wow.
Good luck.
As we start to get out on the road more, then that will be a real vital piece of what we're doing, is to be able to get some songs released and
That'd be cool.
right. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Beside Luther and Frank Sinatra, who else do you enjoy covering?
Really anything. I mean, I think we'll do some James Ingram, some Freddie Jackson, Jeffrey Osborne. I mean, there are just so many great
Oh yeah.
R&B male vocalists over the years.
Any Lionel Richie?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Commodores. Lionel.
Commodores.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yes.
You sing. You got to sing that song.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a
That's-
staple for me.
Oh
It's been
yeah, it is.
for a
Did you
long
get a
time.
chance to see him when he was here in concert?
No, I think I was performing.
You were performing at that
Yeah,
time.
Yeah. The Saturdays at the T-Mobile, I'm just like, I have gigs every Saturday.
Oh man, yeah. Keep you away from.
So
all
have
that.
you performed at the T-Mobile?
No. I
Oh.
think. Did I? Maybe when it was Sprint, but it was probably like for a private
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like a
function or
private
something.
function.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a show.
But maybe eventually in the near future we'll see you somewhere.
Who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, that seats a lot of people, so
It
you have to
does.
kind of work your way up.
Oh, yeah. And you'll be looking up in the see who's up on top.
Exactly.
Have you ever tried any other genres than R&B or soul?
Again,
Even for fun, like
Some rapping? Some rapping?
No,
Not.
no. Have I tried to rap yet?
Yeah, she's like, please don't.
That look, yeah, that answers the question.
That would be fun.
I mean, growing up, we did a lot of, besides what my siblings would sing, we would do a lot of like contemporary Christian music,
Okay.
like Amy Grant, and
Okay.
there was an artist by the name of Russ Taff, Petra, which was more of a hard rock Christian group, and then just a lot of pop music over the years. You know, I didn't really do any R&B for a long time. Like my only outlet for a lot of years was karaoke.
Yeah.
So right out of, somewhat out of high school, I went to basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And our idea growing up of like kind of hip music too was like the guitar folk mess at church. We weren't really doing any gospel music or anything. So when I went to basic, I had they call your bunk buddy.
Okay.
But you had bunk beds, and it was the guy that you had a foot locker that you shared, a wall locker. You're responsible for each other. You kind of help each other through basic. And his name was Brooks. Big guy, tall, big guy. And he sang a little like Luther.
Oh.
But he started to teach me a few songs, Luther songs, some Troop, different R&B guys. It didn't stick with me very long, but it was about the time where they just started having men and women train in the same areas.
Oh.
We didn't train together, but we were like they would have one floor of the barracks, we had the next floor. So they were just starting to mix everybody together. And so I remember in training, when we were out in the field, they'd have bleachers for us to rest on. And he would tell me, he'd be like, go sing something. I'm like, no, I'm the skinny Mexican kid, right? I'm like, no. He's like, come on, sing for the girls. Go do some Luther. So I'd go over and sing some Luther, and the girls about,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
so
well,
funny.
maybe there is something to this,
Something
you know?
there, yeah.
But never did it again.
Wow.
And then I had no professional outlet at that point, so I would do karaoke. My go-to song was At This Moment, which was from Family Ties. It was Billy Vera and the Beaters.
Okay.
And Candle in the Wind was huge, so I would do Candle in the Wind, the
Elton John?
tune. Yeah, I'd do that a lot. Holding Back the Years by Simply Red.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember how frustrating that was, because you go to karaoke and you just wait all night to do one song, and that was my only outlet. But you were just so hungry to do something, right? To be able to sing on a mic.
Yeah.
And then I met a gentleman from Topeka whose brother sings here in town. Actually, he sang in Topeka, then he moved here, by the name of Hal Wakes. And he sings with a band called the Atlantic Express, which is Gary Mack. He's the manager.
Okay.
And Atlantic Express is a big Motown 60s themed band. Did a
Okay.
lot of corporate jobs, big weddings, and they have 3 or 4 vocalists. So I auditioned. Hal got me on audition, and I won that. So I sang with the Atlantic Express they sing out at Knuckleheads now a lot, like maybe once a month. But that was my first professional experience.
Okay.
And Gary spoiled me. I mean, I learned probably 40 some songs that were all that 60s era music.
Yeah.
R&B. And he was like, I want the singers to walk in with their microphones, and you hook up, and when we're done, you unhook it, and you go home. And we will take care of everything else. And I knew guys that were road warriors, and they would spend hours in their vehicle. They'd go and set up all their equipment, play the gig, they'd tear all the equipment down, drive hours home.
Right.
So I did get spoiled pretty.
Yeah.
I was like, I still hadn't had a reality check at that point.
Yeah.
But that was this cool experience, right? Having a stage and this big, huge group, and you're singing in front of tons of people.
Yeah.
When I hit Washington D.C., I auditioned for the U.S. Army Band,
Oh, uh-huh.
and so I won that spot. And those elite, the premier bands in D.C., every branch of the service has a premier band, and it's only by audition. So I had been in the reserves previously, but ordinarily you only join those units if you win the audition, and then you go to basic training. So when I got there, it was 99. So I sang under President Clinton and President George W.
Okay.
But all of the flag officers, which are the really high generals and the enlisted, were all baby boomers. And they loved Motown and Sinatra. So there were a lot of great singers in our unit, but not many pop singers.
Yeah.
So when I hit DC, it was the perfect time for
Oh,
me
yeah.
because
Nice.
I had just learned all of this stuff. So I had the blessing. I was more or less the personal vocalist for Secretary of Defense Cohen and his wife because they were huge Motown fans. So I worked more as a soloist than even with the chorus that I was assigned to. But they would call and say, we want Ron to come and do a 45-minute set of some Sinatra and some Motown stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Depending
At the
on-
White House or somewhere
A lot at
like
the State Department building.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
some
over
government
DC.
building.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was. And I thank Gary Mack for that. I mean, Gary taught me all of that material. And if I hadn't had that in my head, I wouldn't have been able to be as successful as I was
Right.
in D.C.
That's
so
cool.
I owe him a huge debt of gratitude.
Yep. You know, before we move on from this, okay, how many years did you serve?
So I was in D.C. for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, again, just this experience where you were able to see all the levels of the administration in a much different atmosphere than they didn't have to have their game face on. They were just
Right.
people.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't matter if they were a 4-star general or a congressman or whoever. They were just having a meal and enjoying music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
they just
Yeah.
enjoyed that moment. So
Do you miss that part of your experiences, or
You know, yes and no. I mean, everything, God directs your steps,
Uh-huh.
right? So that experience led to being here, led to my family. So
Yeah.
Okay.
it all happened and became the way it was because it was the way it was supposed to be.
Correct. Yeah.
But you mentioned like the Kaufman Center, the Army Band, and it was because it was the Army Band's.
Okay. So it was the Army, the branch that you.
Yes.
served.
mhm.
Okay.
So it wasn't Ron Gutierrez, it was the Army Band.
Yeah.
But we would do a concert every year at the Kennedy Center for our anniversary. And then we would alternate between Carnegie Hall and the Lincoln Center in New York every other
Cool.
year for
Wow.
concerts there. So there are these legendary halls that you have the
Yeah.
opportunity to go out and perform in. One thing that I had with my dad passed shortly after I had been there, before I came home. And one of the things that I did was, because he stopped playing and pursuing his career because of his family, right? I would call him from backstage, no matter where we were. And I would say, Dad, guess where I'm at?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the Kennedy Center, or I'm at the Apollo, or wherever I was. And
Man,
that
where was the FaceTime when you needed it?
No,
right?
I know
Right.
exactly. But
Yeah.
that was our thing.
Yeah.
That's again another cherished memory that I had of that was our thing.
Uh-huh.
And I got to allow him to go on that journey.
That journey with you.
right? Because I know he would have been the same places had he pursued it.
Yeah.
So.
If there was someone that you would love to sing with, who would it be? Whether even if they're gone, I mean, is there somebody out there that?
I think it would have been Sinatra.
Yeah?
To be honest with you,
That's cool.
Yeah, I think just because Sinatra's aura. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you were in his sphere, oh my gosh, that was just such a cool time, a cool experience to be around. I mean, I'm sure there were some rough things too, but man, he was cool. He was hip.
I'm trying to imagine you and Frank Sinatra singing together on. I see Frank Sinatra in black and white. I don't think I've ever seen him in color.
Yes,
Yeah. Like, how cool would that be?
Absolutely.
Ron is in color. And
Yeah,
Frank
you're in
is
color
black and
and
white.
Frank's in black and white. It's like the Rat Pack. That's how I see the Rat Pack. The black and white pictures.
Yes.
That,
That's
that's pretty cool. Besides the music that you sing, who do you enjoy listening to?
I don't really. This sounds odd. I don't listen to a lot of music. I mean, I'll listen to Pandora. I take that back.
Yeah.
I'll put on like a funk. I love my funk station on Pandora.
Mm-hmm.
I love my Luther station on Pandora. I think those are the two. I think I have another one that's like not Malo, but who would it be? Who would it be? There's another one. Yeah, Brown Eyed Soul
Oh, okay.
station. But I think actually I do have a Malo station. But it kind of
Yeah.
depends on what mood I'm in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I hear you.
And I think I'm spoiled by Pandora too because it mixes everything up. So there's not necessarily one artist
Yeah.
that I'm listening to all the time. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of my favorite Pandora stations, I just put in, it's just 70s, 80s, and 90s hits,
okay. Oh.
and you get everything. Yeah,
Well, and you've got the yacht rock.
Yeah.
The 70s
And then-
soft rock.
the soft rock, the yacht rock. That's another that I love listening to that because of course it takes me back to the 70s, and being with my dad. He'd always be listening to WHB we had back in the day or whatever station that was out there and playing that kind of music. But that was for its time. Yeah. So outside of music, what is it that Ron likes to do?
I like to read.
Yeah.
I don't read as much as I should. I noticed that my language suffers when I'm not reading. And I'll be sitting there talking to someone and I can't think of a word, or I know the word, I can't think of, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I need to read more. I have not been
Yes.
reading as much as I
Yes.
should be. Right now, a lot of my time is spent with little man,
Yeah.
and we're kind of connected at the hip.
Oh yeah.
And
That's cool.
pretty much, if it's something that he and I can do together, we're going to be doing that. So,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. Yeah, that sounds fun. Did you do sports when you were younger, or?
Yeah, well, that was the other thing about our house. So we played basketball all the time.
Yeah. Where was the basketball court? Where was it at the schoolyard? Or?
Well, no, it was at our house. It was.
Okay.
So it was that corner lot, and it was probably 50 yards from our house to the garage. So it was a detached garage, but on the garage it was they had a basketball hoop.
Yeah, the basketball goal there.
And so when my sister got married, both of my brother-in-laws and my brother and I would go out and play basketball like every family gathering. My brother and I would be out there all the time.
Yeah.
But I lived to play basketball.
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
we
Did you ever
joked
think you'd
about-
go pro one day?
No.
You can
know
say it
that-
right here, Ron.
you know what,
You
though?
can say it because I say it all the time. I should have went pro.
I told Elijah that I didn't even make it onto my varsity team at Hayden. Damian Valdivia. Damian, if you're out there.
Uh-huh.
Damian was this great point guard.
Okay.
And I knew I didn't have a chance once I saw Damian at the tryouts. So, but no, we had a tree right next to the garage, and so the tree was the third defender.
Oh.
Because it was a branch that would always grow, and you just always had to. You knew where you could not shoot from.
Oh, that's funny.
And we'd have to trim it back every once in a while.
Yeah.
We were just joking about that. That's so funny.
Yeah, that's cool. That's more great moments.
Yeah,
great memories.
My brother played baseball, like little league, but I never did that. My brother did all the sports.
Yeah.
He played football and wrestling. I just did basketball.
Okay.
I topped out at almost my height right now, like in 7th or 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So compared to some of the other kids, 7th grade year, I was really tall. And then 8th grade year,
Yeah.
they all cut up with me. I was like, oh, no, okay.
Hey, that's funny. All right. So we'll get into this. My next segment we have. If you could build your own musical festival, what 5 bands would you have up there, or a solo artist, and in different genres, like rock, pop, R&B, country, soul.
Do you sing country?
Jazz.
Do you do country?
I used to sing some country for weddings, like in
Yeah.
the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my gosh, like George Strait and Garth stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I was doing these, like the Armed Forces salute at the Royals,
Oh.
and for halftime for salute to service for the Chiefs. And so typically those would always be patriotic songs, which normally are country songs. So like God Bless the USA, American Soldier,
Okay.
God Bless America, those things. But yeah, countries, yeah. But not a lot,
Okay.
No.
not anymore. I would say anybody, like
anybody.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Your
building-
festival.
This is
Your
this
festival.
is Ron's musical
Wow.
festival, and
If Bruno Mars,
okay.
Ooh.
yeah, Michael Bublé.
Oh.
Michael Bublé. No, really, 'cause I'm trying to think of how they're gonna fit. But
You almost said that, like you said that name, and then you're like, damn, I just said Michael Bublé. Yeah.
Michael, we're still looking for that opportunity. No, just kidding.
Yeah, no, put it out there.
So Bruno, Michael Bublé, Adam Levine's band, Maroon 5,
Oh, yeah.
Foo Fighters,
Okay.
David Grohl. He did a concert at the White House, one of the concerts that they do at the White House. I think it was a Beatles tribute. And I didn't really know David Grohl much outside of Nirvana. And he did this, I can't even remember what song it was, but his singing and guitar playing on that song were just exquisite, just amazing.
You know, the Foo Fighters, they covered the Bee Gees. Have you heard that?
Really? Mm-mm.
Wow.
Oh, really?
It is really good.
Okay.
It is. I don't know how. It might have been Pandora where it come up, and I was like, "Whoa!" I said they had that sound of the Foo Fighters, but they're doing disco. You ever get a chance, check that out.
Okay.
Yeah, they cover it. Oh, and they have a certain name for it. They even put out an album covering the Bee Gees. Yeah, it really cool. But David Grohl, yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? Did he sing with Nirvana, or he just played the drums?
I think he just played the drums.
Yeah, because it's kind of cool how he just become a singer and
Yeah.
had his own, and then came out with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn about him until I heard the Foo Fighters, and then I heard, oh yeah, this guy used to play the drums for Nirvana.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And I think that's a talent when the drummer can sing at the same time, kind of like Phil Collins.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
yes.
play
my
the drums.
gosh. Phil Collins. I forgot about Phil Collins. Wow.
I'll put 6 up there. Is it Phil Collins solo, or is he with Genesis?
Genesis.
Yeah.
The Police.
Oh yeah.
Sting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with Sting.
Man, I'm already way over budget.
Right.
That's pretty cool. But that's what's cool about just trying to put something like that together. You
Yeah.
know? Man, you didn't even throw in like the Commodores or Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's
or
true.
Cool
oh my
in the
gosh.
Game.
See, now,
Yeah,
oh my
so-
god.
I know, right? There's so much out there. Have you ever seen Have you ever seen Cool in the Game concert? I had the opportunity. It was probably early '90s. They come here for. They played there at the Barney Alice.
Okay.
Barney Alice Plaza. You know how it's open there.
Yeah.
They played with the Gap Band.
Okay.
Talk about a concert.
I bet. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
that was so cool. That's one of those concerts that I'll never forget. And then of course when they played Summer Madness, that right there was like, man, that was cool.
You want a Cool in the Gang story?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Put it
Okay,
out there.
So when I was doing karaoke,
Okay.
so at one point when I was at KU, I did a lot of karaoke with the townsfolk. There was a bar in Lawrence called the Jet Lag Lounge,
Uh-huh.
and there was a lot of Lawrence paper employees that would come in. So they weren't students; it was all townies.
Okay.
And I would go in and do karaoke. Well, the people that first brought karaoke to Lawrence were Tom and Rita, who they called Peaches. Tom and Rita Conroy, and they had a couple of bars in Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they started doing it at the Ramada at Bannister Road. What do you think there is?
Oh.
Was it Ramada? Something. And they asked a few of us to go because karaoke was still new.
Oh.
And they're like, we want you to come in, sing, and get people, like, break the ice for
Yeah.
people. So we came up one night, and they would get us a hotel room for the night. And it was almost time to close. And this group of guys came in. And they were sitting there for a little while, and somebody came over, and they're like, do you know who that is? And we're like, no. And they're like, that's Cool in the Gang. I'm like, whatever. It's just a big group of guys. You're going to say it's some whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, no, that's really Cool in the Gang. They were doing a concert at Richard's Gebauer when for some of the troops coming home from Desert Shield
Oh, okay.
or Desert Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
And so they were staying there. And so we went over and started talking to them. They sang Celebration on karaoke.
Oh, how fun.
So it
That's
was one
cool.
of the most surreal things of having them sing to this karaoke track. So we shut the place down, and I was sitting there with them, and I was pretty young, and their bass player was like, you know what, Ron? He goes, you ever heard of Color Me Bad? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, cool, discovered them at a talent show. He goes, they were just high school kids. And now look, they just did New Jack City soundtrack, all this. He goes, we could do that for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. He goes, here's my number. Here's my home address. And I think it was Alabama. Here's my home number. You call us. You reach out. And he wrote on a cocktail napkin. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, we kept, hanging out, and we all went to breakfast afterwards. And then like a week later, I was telling somebody that story, and I'm like, but he was drinking, and he's never going to remember me because, he'd been drinking. They're like, you're an idiot. They're like, how do you think they do that? How do you think they do business? They find someone. They're like, you need to call him. I could not find that cocktail napkin for the life of me.
Oh, no.
I spent like 3 or 4 days tearing everything apart. I could not find it.
Oh, my
I called their
gosh.
New York, their management office, and of course, I'm this kid from Kansas City,
Right.
Topeka, and they're like, yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
He gave you his number. So no, I never got to connect with them.
That
Yeah.
opportunity was there, Ron.
Who knows?
Oh, my gosh.
Who knows?
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's Cool in the Gang.
That's cool. That's
I
a
always-
cool story.
I always thought at some point I'll do a festival that they're on, and I'll be
Yeah.
able to say like, hey, you don't remember me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you met a lot of famous people then?
I've had the good fortune over my career I've had a lot of artist experiences
Okay.
without being a national artist. So yeah, I mean it's been really, it's been a blessing to meet a lot of different,
Okay.
different people. And the nice thing is, I think in the genres that I do, they've been a lot of established people, and they're very down to earth.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
and you can hear stories about different people, but everyone that I've been able to, or that I've interacted with, has been super cool.
Oh,
Just-
that's- okay.
Yeah. So
That's cool. Yep. Speaking of cool in the gang, that's awesome.
there you go.
Yeah.
But you're still waiting to hit your spot. I mean, you're
We'll see, Lord willing.
Yeah.
We'll see what the Lord has in store. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we finish here, go through some real quick things. June 22nd. That was the day of Lisa G's Celebration of Life Festival. How hot was it?
It was warm, but we were covered.
Yeah,
at least
you
by
were
the roof.
you were on that stage.
Yeah.
And
But there was a breeze. I think it was windy. It was windy
yeah,
coming through
yeah.
there.
It was
So
windy.
you left before the rain came?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. 'Cause-
Lucky you, Ron.
Right.
Yeah, because we wrapped up because Alex, Alex Cordero? Alex Cordero plays keys with me a lot.
Okay.
Andrew Ward plays drums. They're my main two guys.
okay.
Adam Ledbetter too, but Alex had to go,
Oh,
so we
okay.
had to be earlier. I think we were one of the first people on the.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
were from 2:30 an hour. 2:30 to 3:30 was
Yeah.
about that time.
And then I had to
The
get to my
hottest
gig.
time of the day too. Boy.
But again, I didn't think it was
No?
that.
Okay.
But I remember. It's funny.
Ron, you were the only one in slacks that day.
I know. I didn't. But there was something. I thought it was the speakers or feedback or something. I was like, something's wrong with the sound system.
Yeah.
And it was the metal roof, like shaking.
Oh wow.
I don't know if it was from the speakers or the wind, but it was shaking
Just
and
like
reverberating.
hovering. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
It was your voice. It was just,
Exactly. It
Yeah,
was.
Vice was just bouncing off. Yeah. Then that was a pretty cool event.
It was.
Until the very end, Stranded in the City was supposed to close out, and nope, they didn't even get to make it on stage.
Yeah.
They were there. It was right between acts, and there Stranded was getting ready to play, and this storm, Ron. I'm sure you felt that storm, saw that storm, but
Yeah.
we were there. A lot of us were still there. Within seconds, that rain just came down hard, like
Yeah.
a wall, like buckets, and it rained for at least a good 15 minutes straight.
And it swamped everything out.
It did.
Yes, I mean
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it was. That was the end of the show.
We're never going to forget that night.
I know, right?
Well, I came back after
Oh,
my
did
gig.
you? Oh, okay.
So I got there maybe about, I want to say almost midnight, maybe 11:45.
Okay.
And so I was just kind of stepping through the mud a little bit.
Yeah.
Mike had already left, I think,
Okay.
at that point. But I went up to the stage, and I think the guys said that some of their equipment had gotten
I
wet.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
In the midst of that, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys need any help?" And they're like, "No, I think we have everything." But
Yeah,
man, I felt bad because that was right when they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know some people were there to hear them, and they didn't even get to
They didn't
hear
get to
them.
perform,
Yeah.
but they did perform the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they performed at Emerson Park, just right
yeah.
Oh, okay.
right down the street
Okay.
from the Eagles Nest. Yeah.
Okay.
So they performed there. So it was cool, and I guess their equipment was okay, which is good.
Good.
Yeah. Any events coming up for you that you'd like to put out there? Let the people know that, like, this is your camera right here. If you want to
I
let
should
the
have
people
been
know.
focusing here. Actually, so September 14th,
Okay.
Fiesta Hispania.
Oh, okay.
I just talked to David about this. So I'll be doing a set that Saturday.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
I don't know
Okay.
that they have the official lineup out yet. but
Okay.
that'll
Yeah,
be-
I
that'll
haven't.
be
Yeah,
live.
I've been in contact with David. He wants me to set up the pod there,
Oh wow!
set up for a
That'll
couple of
be
hours or
cool.
so.
Okay.
So he and I we're in the talks right now. So
Okay.
I think
okay.
I think that would be fun. And if I do set up, if you have time, come
Yeah, I'm
sit with
happy
us.
to- yeah, I'm happy
come
to
sit
do
with
that.
us to do it
Yeah.
again. But I'm sorry. This is Ron's
no.
time, not Mod's time.
No. So we have that on the 14th. There was a gentleman. He's a comedian by the name of Michael Collier.
Okay.
And Michael Collier's been around for years, but they had reached out not too long ago. So I'm going to be doing his podcast
Cool.
here soon, I think.
Okay.
And then we've got some stuff happening in Vegas that's going to be coming up soon too.
Oh.
So,
Nice.
so yeah, so
All right.
some
Good luck with
exciting
that.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I wanted this to be, and I'm not just saying this, I wanted this to be my first podcast.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
Because there's been a lot of people that have reached out
Uh-huh.
again since the viral stuff, and this seemed like to me was like the right fit.
Oh,
And
good.
so-
I appreciate
Yeah.
that, Ron.
Yeah.
Thank
And-
you for being.
and not to be selfish about it, but
No, please do.
so with all the viral things, like we've had all of the views seem to be concentrated around 5 cities. The largest view counts were Atlanta, Chicago, Buffalo, New York, Houston, and Dallas. And during the course, I mean, that happened in September of last year. It's been almost a year. But I hadn't seen that translate or hop over into the Hispanic community.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can I get that tie-in? Because I know that there were a lot in the community of Luther fans, right? And that video was a Luther song. So after that appearance that David mentioned me on,
Okay.
right,
Mm-hmm.
I started getting a lot of people starting to follow me.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yes, from around the country that were Hispanic. And I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
this is also an opportunity, right, to
Yep.
expand that base as well. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, please. I mean, I know you have an Instagram handle and Facebook. You know, you can put that out there as well.
yeah, so if you go out to Ron Gutierrez Music, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, be sure to do a like, a follow, and a share. If you see the video out there, be sure to share that with your friends. The first woman that posted that, there was a gentleman from Detroit that came in and took this video of me. He sent it to a friend of his named Tam White, who is a comedian in Detroit as well. So thank you, Tam. I'm still going to make it to see you. But she posted it on a Sunday. It started going viral on Monday.
Okay.
Donald Lawrence, who is a very well-known national gospel artist, saw the video. He shared it on his Instagram page, and then that went viral. So it went viral like multiple times, and it just kind of took on a life of its own. And
Yeah.
Wow, that's so
That's cool.
yeah, so it's really been exciting.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like I mentioned before, I'm eager to be able to go out because I read comments. The one thing that someone told me, they're like, don't read the comments. You do
Right.
not want to
Yeah,
read
yeah.
I've heard that as
right?
well. Yeah.
One night I went down the rabbit hole.
Oh.
I stayed up all night till like probably 5 or 6 in the morning.
You lose track of time once you get
Yes.
going.
I did not.
We do that on
see-
Amazon.
Okay, well, yeah. I did not see one negative comment. Like,
good.
not one. Which was
Wow.
extremely unusual. that
Right.
No one's trolling you or doing
Yeah.
anything like that. So, praise God. A lot of this has just kind of given me that positive feeling that this is truly was a blessing
Yes.
from God.
Yeah.
And trying to find a way to be able to use this opportunity to further God's mission as well, right? And be able to share that with
Yeah.
people.
Well,
too.
you know your
So,
dad is looking down on you and just smiling, right?
Oh, yeah.
I hope so. I hope so.
Saying it's about time you did the big modcast.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So do you see yourself like wanting to do Vegas, like being able to be on stage and have your own show or anything like that?
You know, one idea that I had, I just being out on the road and
Just being on the road.
performing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Vegas is if it's Vegas,
Uh-huh.
if it's going out, I think starting out initially we have a good opportunity in some of they call them like a B market, right, where the theaters are around a 2,500 seat theater or something.
Yeah.
I've always felt that vocally it would be a really
Ah.
good situation, right? Just this a good quality little hall,
Right.
where the people can really hear well.
Uh-huh.
But no, I mean, again, we're exploring a lot of different
That's
opportunities right
awesome.
now, and whichever ones catch. Lisa had been after me for a good while to consider doing a Tejano project.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was dragging my feet on that a little bit because I'm like, I don't see myself. I don't think I would do it well, right? And she was like, Ron, you have to do this. You really have to think about it. And you didn't say no to Lisa, right?
Yeah.
So that's even something, a direction that we're possibly considering or looking at. I don't know what will happen, but you know, again,
Good luck
whatever,
with that, yeah.
Yeah.
whatever is
Do a little
blessed.
bit of Tejano.
You know, I again, and I think Aggie will attest to this. When I sing Spanish, I don't have the best pronunciation of it, and Aggie's fluent, and so she's a good critic.
Now, did you ever hear George Strait's song of El Rey?
Mm-mm.
George Strait did an
Really?
awesome job. So Ron, I'm pretty sure you can do it.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I always think that it should be something that is genuine,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
so it has to be of a high quality.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, again, if it's kind of the criteria that I have for anything.
Yeah.
Is that if it's the right project, if it's at the level that I want it to be at, then
Yeah.
I'm open.
And this has all started because of that video that went viral.
Absolutely.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
She put. Am I over?
No,
Sorry.
no.
You're
Please.
fine.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you're
you're
fine.
good.
So, again, an aside, I did a show in LA a long time ago,
Uh-huh.
and it was for Fox. And in between taping, they have a hype guy, a comedian,
Oh,
to keep the crowd, you know,
Yeah,
'cause
keep them
they don't get
on
bored.
their toes. Yeah.
So in between take, they're having some tech issues in the control room. He's like, just sing something, just do something. I'm running out of stuff. So I did a Luther song. I just sang it a cappella on stage, and the people loved it, right? So afterwards, after I got done singing, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Latin Luther.
Yeah.
And he's the
LL.
first person that ever said
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
And so afterwards, I had some people come up, and they're about my age, and they're like, you know what? We've enjoyed Enrique, we've enjoyed Ricky. You do the kind of music that we like,
Yeah.
soul and that soulful sound. We don't care what you do. We just want to see someone that we can relate to, and that shares our background. And man, what are you gonna do, right? So I've carried that in my mind all these years, that there's an audience out there, right? Fast forward to a few years ago, Roland Martin, I did an event for the Johnson County NAACP,
Oh,
and Roland Martin was the kind of like the master of ceremonies, or the keynote, and he was tweeting while I was singing, and he said, I had to come to Kansas City to hear the Latin Luther.
Oh.
And so again, another person puts that out there, and then this comedian in Detroit, I don't know if someone told her, but when she posted it, she put Latin Luther on the video.
okay.
So it was a long video.
Uh-huh.
TikTok listeners generally don't last longer than 10 seconds, right?
Right.
But this was like a 3 or 4 minute video. And someone said, I think what may have happened is that people saw that and they wanted to listen because they wanted to see if you were
They wanted to
bad.
check it out themselves.
Yeah, they were assuming you were going to be bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then when they liked it, then it took off
Okay.
from there.
That's cool.
But so I think it's that Latin Luther.
Okay. They're like, there's no way. How can there be a
Yes.
Latin Luther?
Right, right. And it was sold out. I mean, it was crazy at the Reserve, like sold out since last September. We had people flying in to Kansas City to see my gig at the American Reserve from LA,
Wow.
DC, Chicago, Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me, and I feel bad in a way because I'm like, it's not the T-Mobile Center, it's just this little restaurant gig.
Yeah.
But people have said, we just want to be in the same space. We want
Yeah.
to have this intimate experience, be able to meet you
Yeah.
and talk to you. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a variety of things that have kept this going and driving it forward.
Yeah.
And definitely being on the podcast is going to be a huge benefit to us. So
I hope so.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
certainly
That'd be awesome.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So you have an agent.
Mm-hmm.
So did that come along as everything started to? Did she find you or you found her?
I met Susan in Nashville in '99.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I had
shout out
moved
to
Nashville.
Susan.
Susan Henson,
Yeah.
Nashville. I met her. I lived in Nashville for 6 weeks.
Oh.
And while I was there, I auditioned for the United States Army Band. So I moved from Nashville, came home to get my affairs in order, and then I moved to D.C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh.
But Susan has a long history in the industry.
Yeah.
So we've known each other for years, and now
Okay.
these things are happening. So
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
And
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan, she gave me a little bit of her history, and I'm like, Susan, I would love to have you on the podcast as well.
Oh yeah, she would be
Yeah.
great. She would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
She's from St. Louis originally,
Yeah.
and at that time, there was a huge garage band scene for middle school and high school bands, and she and her husband, actually her family, were a musical family that when they were little, there were four of them, and they had a little singing like Southern gospel group,
Oh, okay.
and Curtis Mayfield discovered them, and so they worked for Curtis Mayfield for a short period of time.
Okay.
And then like I say, in middle school, high school, they went to school with Michael McDonald, and they all
Oh, that's right.
developed that together. They all moved out to LA together.
Uh-huh.
They all came up through the industry together.
Yeah.
So
Do you think
yeah.
you'll eventually have to move?
No, I don't think so.
You're
No.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because you don't want to go too far, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. But anymore with these opportunities, studios, you can
Okay.
you can do that from anywhere anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there will be obviously time on the road.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, Ron.
Thank you.
You know,
I
Yeah.
that's
appreciate
going to be
that.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very privileged to be sitting in your presence and everything that has. This is pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's good. So, Ron, before we end, I need to know what are Ron's favorites. Okay, so I'm gonna ask for 5. What is your favorite restaurant?
Ooh. I might get in trouble for this one. Jack Stack.
Yeah.
And slightly Q39. I think those two.
Okay.
Okay. So
I
some
can hear.
barbecue.
I can hear you singing a jingle for them. Favorite sport to watch?
Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
College basketball.
College.
Oh,
ball.
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
KU then, huh?
Of course.
Yeah.
So when you were there at KU, who was playing then? Like what? Were they
Wow, at
already
that time-
winning
Will
championships
Chamberlain?
down there?
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding, Ron.
That was like Jacques Vaughn's era. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So they
remember
were
Jacques
already-
Vaughn. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Roy
That was a good
Williams.
team.
Yeah. Okay, Roy
era.
Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
They had just won the national championship
88.
in '88, and then they were under the year of probation, I think.
Okay.
And then Roy came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
88. Yeah, that was Danny Manning and Piper.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. That was a fun squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, all right,
Oh.
we could go down to the. Go ahead.
Who's the K-State coach that was at Illinois? The former the K-State basketball coach.
The one that's there now.
No,
No,
the
that was at
former.
Illinois. He used to be at Illinois.
Weber. Webb.
Yeah.
Webb. Yeah.
Sorry, just
No,
an
no,
aside.
no,
So
you
I
good.
was doing
You
the
good.
anthem. It was that KU K-State game,
Okay.
and
Ooh.
I went out on the court, and normally for some reason the teams are on the sides, and you go out to the tip of the beak, and then you do your facing movement towards the flag, and I did my facing movement, and I was looking like Bruce was right there, and we like locked eyes, and I was like, for a second I was like, it startled me because I never see anybody standing right there, but anyway,
That's pretty cool.
he may remember me.
What is Ron's favorite color?
Blue.
Baloo.
Is there a reason?
No, I just always like blue.
I always like blue.
He knows.
What is your favorite way of transportation? Or what do you prefer?
To travel or just
Yeah,
locally?
to travel. To
Oh,
travel. Sorry.
Plane.
Plane.
Get
Yeah.
there faster.
Yeah. And what is Ron's favorite cartoon?
Oh, wow.
Because I know you were up on Saturday mornings just like all
Right.
of
Yep.
Yeah.
us. Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep.
Although now I would have to say, what is it in the Lemming? Grizzy and the Lemmings. We watched that.
Oh, is that something new? Because we don't have
Yeah,
little
it's a-
ones anymore. So
Yeah.
It's a funny. It's
Okay.
There's
So, but what? Okay, and what about
Growing
back
up?
then? Yeah.
yeah,
oh, Bugs Bunny,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Looney
the
Tunes.
classic. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, the classics.
yeah.
All right, cool.
I think Smurfs will probably be mine.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never watched like He-Man or anything like those.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
neither did I. Mine was more of a Popeye.
Oh,
I
okay.
used to love, even though that was like,
Yeah.
That was before
that was
your
before
time,
my
though.
time.
Yeah.
but I just remembered those.
Yeah.
You know, those that and Felix the Cat and Betty Boop. I mean, all those old, all that old
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, Ron, thank you for your time.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate
It's been a
you-
pleasure. I appreciate
I
it.
appreciate you being here. This was fun.
Thank you.
Yep. I hope you had a blast doing this.
I did. It's fantastic to meet you as well. Thanks,
thank
Chris,
you.
too. Thank you.
He was quiet today. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's okay. But yeah.
So I know I'm late to the game, and you probably have gone over it. But how many talent shows did you win as a kid in school?
I don't think I did
No?
talent shows. No. I did win.
Because you've been singing for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I did the. Topeka used to have a big 4th of July celebration called Go Forth. I think it was like 2 or 3 days leading up to the 4th.
Uh-huh.
And I think I did that, and I think I won that one year. And I even beat like some kids and an animal act, actually. And they say never follow kids or animals, and I won.
That's cool. No,
Yeah.
And this was where in
In Topeka.
In Topeka.
Yeah, it was for Go Forth. So,
Go for it. That's cool. That's pretty awesome. Well, Ron, again, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was fun. This was a long time waiting, and I waited patiently, but I'm glad you were able to
I
do
appreciate
this.
you sticking with us.
Yeah, no, not a
Thank you.
problem. And then talking to Susan as well, and like I said, I'd like for her to even come in. Maybe one day she ever schedules. Both of you can come in. You can do a 2.0 with Ron, and
Okay.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
But, all right, ladies
hi
and
to-
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the Big Modcast. Until next week, adios.